All right, Grant, pre-show shenanigans. You know what? This is a happy pre-show. It's related to the MLB, related to the World Series. All right. Um, Grant, the person who caught Freddie Freeman's Gibby walk-off home run moment
A 10-year-old,
was
right?
a 10-year-old Dodger fan
Uh-huh.
who did not know he was even going to the Dodgers game until they got there because his parents told him he was going to the dentist. Now, just think about that turnaround. You're going to the
Yeah, I can't
dentist
think of a
and
better
you end up at
surprise.
Dodger Stadium.
I can't think of a better surprise. Yeah, no, you're about to
First of all,
get
there's that. Then your day ends up with you get arguably
the most famous home run, at least of our lifetime. I would say
yeah.
that was the most famous home
Hey,
run. What Kirk Gibson? That was 88. 20. Anyone 35 and under, that was your most iconic home run you've ever seen
yeah,
in your life.
that kid's college tuition completely paid for if they sell the ball, if they opt to that.
Yeah.
Personally, I think you just got to keep that thing, but
Oh, no, no, no. You wait. You sit on that. Like I saw the other week that the Otani 50-50 home run was just the most expensive home run ball ever auctioned off. I believe around 4.1 mil.
yeah.
Think about that though. The next highest, I believe, was 3 million for Barry Bonds' record-breaking home run ball. He broke the record for
You
all-time
know
home
what?
runs. You would think that baseball should be a little more than 3 million, but yeah, no, this Otani ball is past that. I also was looking up Otani, I believe, has 3 different home run baseballs that have been auctioned off top 10 ever. I don't even
It's
know
only going to
what the
get more
other two
expensive
were.
as it goes,
Yeah,
apparently. Yeah, I bet you.
yeah. But that Freddie Freeman home run, 5.
It might be six and a half.
That's like I gotta look up. Wait, let me see if I have this right.
Yeah, it does start to lead me to this question, Grant, and it might be an embrace debate moment. We always see there's the good Samaritans, the good people in the crowd who, they catch a baseball like right over a kid or something right next to a kid and they turn around and give the ball to the kid.
Mhm.
Um, if
Oh,
you
if
were right next to a
Freddie
if you were if
no,
you were right next to like a
mine. No,
six
no,
year
that's
old
mine.
kid,
Oh, the walk off grants. No, 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 that's my ball. I'm taking
would
that.
you
I
body check
immediately
a kid to get that ball? That
yes.
how
For
far
that ball, yes. I will hip
how
check
far are
the
you willing
shit
to
out.
go?
I will send that kid 8 feet flying, 8 yards flying. I
Oh my god.
I might have to whip out my old football technique on that, and
Are you
strong
taking out the
base,
icy hot?
strong base,
The icy out on there?
quick feet, keep the legs driving. Oh yeah, full technique on that one. For that home run ball, the kids don't matter. For that one, whoever gets it,
I,
enjoy,
I will
enjoy.
say it is a very good situation that the ball ended up going to a child. Like
I'm shocked. How did a 10-year-old end up with it? How?
I don't know. It's also one of those things where I feel like if you're around people, it's to a point where you're like, I don't want to be the guy that gets caught on national
Oh, fair,
television
fair.
wadding checking.
But for that one,
It's
I
also
think
one of those things.
it's like a
I
fumble.
I
Okay,
I mean,
ball. Get on it. Get on top of it. Ball.
it is just it's innately like that's just such a bad look, and it's also just like, dude, I don't really want to be the guy who vaults over like 2 aisles to just dive
Oh,
over and catch a
okay.
ball on a
I
kid, like
will
next to a
not
kid.
jump
I don't.
over a guy in front of me to get 2 rows below. I'm not
But I'm
doing
saying
it.
even if I'm the row behind, like maybe I'll lean, but I'm not gonna like try. If the ball's clearly going to the kid, I'm not gonna directly lean
Okay,
over to
that is
block
an
the
that is
ball going
another
to the
thing.
kid.
If it's direct, like
It's a direct
I'm gonna
shot.
have to rewatch the tape. I'm
I
gonna have to
haven't seen
rewatch
it. I have not
rewind the
seen it.
tape.
I can't. I haven't found the kid.
If I'm gonna assume that kid must have he might have just snagged that out of the air. Unless it landed
Yeah.
right underneath him, underneath his feet. I'm gonna guess that kid snagged it out of the air. Because
And
for a
also,
loose
there's a certain
fumble,
point.
if you're telling
There's a
me a
certain
10
point
year
though
old
where it's
came up
like,
with that fumble,
hey, that kid should get a
ball
contract in
security
Alabama
around
right
is
now.
bad.
Yeah.
Ball security is not good
But
around
it's
that.
also one of those things where everybody might just be celebrating so blatantly that they're not even realizing the ball
Another,
is
yeah, no,
coming.
that's another factor. I'm taking myself back to that moment. I all I could think of leading up to it, I was just hearing Freddie Freeman's walk up song, and I was just like, God.
I mean, I will be honest. If there's any walk-up song that's so sweet, just to have one
So
going into
funny
that,
to have
oh my god,
Freddie's
it's
walk up
great.
song. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. That was like,
Oh, it's
what?
beautiful.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
will say
we'll get into it. A lot
it
of
was
MLB
funny for
talk,
me.
but
I was at like a Halloween birthday party at somebody's house,
yeah, you're
and
telling me this.
and we were it was literally every single dude at the party were crowded around one TV. I was showing pride. There was no costume for me. It was just Dodgers jersey. All right. Everybody else around me just straight Yankees fans.
Oh
Like
yeah,
nothing. Like we're talking crap to everybody. Whatever. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like hands on my knees, just like, oh my god.
can't
And
say anything.
the whole like you could literally the entire part of the room
Hear a
that we
pin
were in
drop.
dead silent. I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I was just
I
thinking,
was I was legitimately like I started smack talking the kids who
as
were
you should.
talking trash so hard. But that was one of those things where like everybody like saw it at the same time in the same place. Also, all everyone being in costumes is the most funny part of the story.
Oh, it's
But
just no, yeah. You're celebrating with Hulk Hogan, and Where's Waldo? Yeah, like
yeah, no, I
Halloween's. I
celebrated
mean,
with a beaver that night. So that one, a
I'll be
beaver, a
honest.
doctor, and Tom Cruise. Those
Last
were my.
year, I did go as Angel Hernandez for Halloween. I might have to whip that out again, but like I might just
He's
have to.
retired now,
I
though.
might have to be
Unfortunately,
Freddie Freeman.
you
I don't
have
have a
to.
Freddie Freeman jersey,
You
but
have to
I
go
will
buy
acquire
one and
one.
get the patch. Yeah,
I will acquire one. Yeah, no, I'm Freddie Freeman for. I might be Freddie Freeman for Halloween, literally for the
for the
rest of
rest of your
time.
life.
It'll be 2070, and you see me rolling up full head
Hey,
to shoulder
Grandpa,
gear, cleats
what
on
is
too.
that?
Yeah, everything,
Metal
everything.
spikes, metal spikes. We're
Oh
not
yeah,
talking.
we got to teach these kids young. Take this serious, all
Oh
right? Metal
man.
spikes, no messing around. Slide through second, take out the shortstop, all right? Teach these kids the right way. But yeah, I mean that was, we'll just get into the episode. We'll get into the episode, but without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a winning episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Winners only. Today's episode 269. And the Los Angeles Dodgers are up 3-0 on the New York Yankees in the World Series.
As of the time, well, sorry, no, you gotta reiterate, you gotta change that, Grant. This is going up after Game 4.
Oh yeah, that is true. The Los Angeles Dodgers just swept the New York Yankees 4-0 in the World Series. First appearance for the New York Yankees in the World Series in 15 years. And the New York Yankees showed up looking like the Detroit Tigers. They showed up looking like the Cincinnati Reds. They showed up looking like the Chicago White Sox this year. I want to apologize on behalf of the baseball community. I was saying this is going to be the biggest World Series of all time. I like to apologize to.
Hey, you know what? You're not necessarily wrong on that though.
Matchup wise,
it has been.
Yes, it is the
also after Game 1 and arguably Game 2.
That
like
was maybe the greatest baseball game ever. Game 1.
The only
game
dud
1
of a
was,
game. No, that's probably the greatest
baseball game
ever watched.
Ever. I
have ever watched.
I would say it's either that or Game 4. Game 4 Dodgers Astros when we went up 4-1.
Yeah.
Kershaw gave up the bomb.
We went up 7-4. Like, look, Game 1 and Game 2. Bomb. Game 1 and Game 2 were like anybody could have won that. Like you had runners and like
I'm going to take that back. Game 2, the Yankees were. They reminded me of the Dodgers. The past few years. Every complaint we've had about our team,
it did have.
They're exhibiting all of it.
But I will say that I'm just saying on the aspect that look, you get to the bottom of the ninth, the Yankees have like
Well,
bases
yeah.
loaded,
Oh, of
opportunity to
course.
do what we just did to them.
Yeah,
Like
no,
from
no.
an entertainment
Both.
thrill aspect of, my heart is might just explode. Good. Game three, a little bit more relaxed for Dodgers fans, a little bit more I hate
Yeah, I would
everything
say
from
they're both
Yankees fans.
4-2
But
games. Game two
but
and game, they're
outside
both
of
4-2. But they
outside
were
of
maybe the
that,
least competitive 4-2 baseball games I've ever seen in my life. I I'm at a loss of words right now for how the Dodgers are playing. Going into the series, I was saying, let's break down the matchups in the three different facets: starting, bullpen, and lineup. And dummy me, I forgot to include two other aspects of the game: fielding and base running. When I was thinking about the lineup, I was saying, 1 through 4 star power. I think I'd give a slight edge to the Yankees. I was just looking at their front four, and I was just saying, right now, I think they might be a little more scary than our top four. That was incorrect. Um,
I will say, just on paper, if I'm just seeing names, yeah, they are scary.
yeah,
Soto has
top
been
end's
scary at least.
horrifying,
So
horrifying. Soto and Giancarlo have out of this world, horrifying ABs. Um, but that back end of the lineup, I gave the Dodgers the nod there, and I apologize for saying it was a slight advantage of the Dodgers. That was very wrong. It's a massive advantage for the Dodgers, that back end of the lineup. Tommy Edman is our 9 hitter, Everett. Their 9 hitter, Alex Verdugo, former Dodger. He had his two-run home run in the bottom of the ninth last night and
yeah,
pimped it down 4-2 with 2 outs. And you're about to go down 3-0 in the World Series. Read the room, Verdugo. Read the room. Because you didn't read it properly. That's not your moment to pimp that. That's one where you sprint around the bases and get the hell back in the dugout because you're about to go down 3-0 in the World Series. But starting pitching, I thought there was a clear Yankees advantage. Then Walker decided to turn back the clock to 2018, that Red Sox World Series start game 3.
yeah.
Yamamoto, once
Who by the
again,
way?
diced up the Yankees. And Flaherty gave that bomb to Stanton, but we were cruising. Those were some
Who
of the best
is
starts I've seen all year.
I will say Garrett Cole did pitch
Garrett Cole looked
very
nice.
well.
Garrett Cole
And
looked
that's why
damn good.
I did not see who the Yankees are pitching tonight, but your
Luis
back's against the
Hill.
wall. Oh.
Now, Luis
Okay.
Hill started off pretty hot. Good first half of the season, but he's fallen off hard.
Yeah, I
And
will say I think that the Yankee, at least Yankees fans, everybody, no matter what, you're gonna go back and you're gonna point towards Boone's decision to put in Nestor at the end of game one.
yeah,
As
yes, yeah, that's a
that
decision.
is
That
the
was nuts.
pinpoint. That's what I would be doing. I'd be saying, look, that's pinpoint where I'm gonna say the momentum shifted. You put in a pitcher in pitch in a month versus a guy who, I mean, in the World Series shows up, shows out, like
Yeah, I'd say the
you gave
thing
him all
is
the
they had
momentum.
2 options there to bring in the lefty for Freddie. So they could have gone with Nestor, who they did. And I was looking up some advanced numbers kind of behind that decision. Nestor Cortez, when facing hitters for the first time in a game, has an opponent batting average below 100, 0.087 opponent batting average first time facing them. Tim Hill's opponent batting average when facing a player for the first time in a game was over 200. So from that specific stat, I can understand Nestor, but you're right. Nestor's a starting pitcher. He's not a reliever. Tim Hill is a reliever. So you're putting Nestor in an uncomfortable position to begin with. Also,
Were bases loaded at that? No, they pitched him one. He had one player before too, didn't he? Pitch against
they intentionally walk Mook,
oh,
but
they moved. Yeah, they walked.
well, it was actually to come up against Shohei. Actually, good
Yeah,
point. I
they
did
did.
forget.
Shohei got out. I know that because
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, but I thought the Nestor decision wasn't necessarily awful. And then when you look at player split specifically, I believe Ohtani has never, or I think Ohtani's like 3 for 14 in his
Yeah,
career
Otani
against
against
Nestor.
Nestor was not good.
Not
I
a
know
good
that's
matchup.
why they did it. I was just kind of surprised, you leave him in.
Yeah, I thought Tim Hill was the move. Oh, Tim Hill, he was a longtime Padre. I hate facing him because he's that funky sidearm release. After the game, though, A-Rod and Jeter were kind of talking about that and how annoying that can be from a hitting perspective, getting a weird side armor. Like, that's just a weird at bat. You know, Nestor pitches normally over the top 3/4 throwing motion. It's nothing new when Nestor pitches. It's a standard pitcher, but Hill, funky sidearm release. It's just a weird at bat, if that makes sense. And because Yankees fans can always look back at that. And hey, hindsight's 2020. In game 2, Hill ended up facing Ohtani, struck him out. Hindsight's 2020. That was the move. But hey, that happened. Freddie Freeman had the most iconic walk-off home run in the history of the sport, pretty much. So that did happen. And the question is, what do you do to respond moving forward? I think that's where the biggest problems lie with Boone. I'm hearing a lot about Aaron Judge. That's kind of the focus of the series.
Yeah, no,
Aaron
I've heard a
Judge
lot about
has
that
been
too.
awful. He's looked awful. Any complaints I've had about Dookie Betts, that's all now moved to Arson Judge. Okay. He's now embodying all of these postseason struggles. And, I want to go back a little bit earlier. Mookie was struggling early on, and you were discussing potentially dropping him in the lineup. And at the time, I was against the decision because I was thinking, for us to win a World Series, the goal is not to beat the Padres. And to win a World Series, we're going to need Mookie hitting and producing at that 2-hole. And I wasn't the biggest fan of dropping him, thinking, hey, it's a shitty position to be in because we know he's struggling. You shouldn't expect him to succeed, but you're kind of just hoping it magically happens. Because if we drop Mookie and then he continues struggling, well, that's just now a strikeout in the lineup, and he's just phased out of the whole playoffs. And I think for Judge, that was the right decision for the first couple of series. You get the Royals, you get the Guardians. Those are two opponents where you can have an out in the lineup and it's okay. You can, against those opponents, hope Judge can just pick it up and turn it around. The only issue is it's now the World Series. There's only 7 total games left, if even total. You don't have time to
just try and figure it out, mix and match, and just
there's no time to break out of a slump. Now, game 1, that was the opportunity for him to just break out of a slump, new series, turn the page. Hey,
so let's.
But it didn't happen.
If you're Boone, what are you doing?
If I was Aaron Boone, the Yankees, it's too late to do this change now. And they did a change. We'll get into in a second. But your opportunity to make a change was game 3. That was your chance to make a change. And
yeah, that was a must win. That was a must win game, but not a can't lose game. So
yes, in a way, kind of both. Because hey, I wasn't aware, but there's been no series in MLB no World Series in the history of a sport that's over 200 years old. There's never been an instance where a team up 3-0 let the series go back to the home team. That's never happened. So you can say the Dodgers are going to win in New York. We're going to play New York, Frank Sinatra, Brooklyn Dodgers, lifetime fan. We're going to blast that. That's our song. I was kind of joking before the series, but no, that is our song. At the end of the day, baseball, it is you think of New York when you think of baseball. Just seeing Yankee Stadium yesterday, how just impressive it is.
Can we also just talk about
that's what you think of baseball? Yankee Stadium.
Their counter to Ice Cube was Fat Joe.
The game was over when Fat Joe came out. I was like, you cannot be doing this. And also, if I remember this correctly, Ice Cube did not step on the mound. Fat Joe was just waltzing, he was just on the mat. Like
Ice Cube, I think, did he come out of the bullpen? Where did he came out of center field? Yeah, he came out of center field.
That little opening,
kind of walking around, like he never stepped on the actual mound, but he was like around the mound.
No, yeah, but just the comparisons and like stardom, like, hey, I'm aware of who Fat Joe is, but Ice Cube hand needs to be above the screen. Ice Cube, Fat Joe
Fat Joe.
is beneath the screen. Like, what are we talking about?
Like,
Like
I'm trying to think who's a like. I guess you
Jay
got to
Z,
remember.
Jay Z.
No,
How do you not?
Is Jay Z a Mets fan or is he a Yankees fan?
Yankees fan.
He's a Yankee. Yeah,
I
so
made
I
the
don't know how
Yankee
you.
hat more famous than a Yankee game. That's his line.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, I
I
mean,
was
how do
saying
you
you,
not
you
have
do
Jay
gotta.
Z and Alicia
I know
Keys do Empire State of
some
Mind? What are we doing?
that's a
What?
massive miss.
What are we
That
doing?
is a massive
And
miss.
tonight it's Ashanti. I'm aware of the name as a 22-year-old male. Can I sit down and tell you about Ashanti? No, God no.
Yeah, no
Uh,
idea.
no clue. Any any human 22, ages 10 to 20, 16 to 22 is aware of Ice Cube from 21 Jump Street alone. So there's that. Cultural references. Everyone knows Ice Cube.
Straight out of Compton, at least.
Yeah, that should have
Yeah,
put it
should
in
have.
raps,
Yeah.
but 21 Jump Street, everybody knows Ice Cube. Everybody knows Ice Cube.
Or
But
what was the other? He did a buddy cop movie with Kevin Hart too. Ride along. He did
yeah,
a buddy Ride
I
along
mean,
too.
Ice Cube is so
He
funny.
had a streak.
He's
He had
so
a
funny.
streak. It was great.
Just yeah, we don't need to dive into it, but just
Oh my god, 21 Jump
that
Street,
one scene
fantastic
from
movie.
22 Jump Street where Jonah Hill gets
Go to
exposed
Hills.
getting with his
Yeah.
daughter, and it's just keeps the same facial expression the entire scene. Does not move
Oh,
an inch. Goated. Ice Cube, you're goaded.
that one, and then also where then Channing Tatum's character
No,
finds
no,
out.
no.
Are you talking about that? I thought you were talking
Channing
about the one
Tatum
where
is sprinting around the office, and
I
Ice
thought you
Cube
were.
does not change facial expressions for around 4 minutes.
I thought you were talking about the one where Jonah Hill's character shows up at like the lunch and runs into
Now
Ice
that
Cube.
is, I would actually say, a more impressive moment because, I don't need to describe it. Like just seeing him now, I recently saw 22 Jump Street, so it's fresh. But Ice Cube walks in.
By the way, filmed
he's
on
Jonah
Tulane's
Hill.
campus. By the way,
Oh, did not know that. But
yeah,
Ice Cube sits there, shows up, sees Jonah Hill with his daughter, and just immediately picks up. It's a buffet breakfast, brunch. Picks up his plate, walks to the buffet, just starts taking handfuls of stuff, throwing it on his plate, just cleaning the tables. He's like, I hate this pork. This is awful. Like, just starts taking It is one of the funniest scenes I've ever watched in my life. But
oh man,
yeah, no, the series was lost.
comparing that to Fat Joe. No,
the series was already. I'll be honest. After a game one walk, the series was done. The series was done after that. It's
come back from that.
If you're talking about
Grant,
a momentum game,
let's talk about that walk off a little bit. We haven't had the opportunity. I know our thumbnail and the title for the last episode was that Freddie Freeman got his Gibby moment, but we haven't actually talked about it.
Yeah,
Grant,
and
we just have to.
We'll have a conversation with the unnamed intern on so a couple of thumbnails. We've been discussing events that happened over the weekend. And then you open the video. We record that 3 days earlier. That is not related to the episode. We'll have a conversation with the unnamed intern on that one. But
hey, I mean, the unnamed intern likes the views though. That's the problem.
I'll say this:
get the clickbait. I want to say this. Now let me.
Had everything.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say we got to talk about the home run itself, Grant. This is Joe Theismann, Alex Smith level of things going on. I don't know if you saw this. Grant, they hit the home run on the same part of the field. They hit the home run at the exact same time. Both of them were hit at 8:37 p.m. on the dot.
Both game one.
Both
in Dodger Stadium. Now,
both in Dodger
Kirk's
Stadium.
was in the 9th inning. Freddie's was in the 10th. There's a slight difference, and Freddie at the bases loaded. So
was a walk-off grand slam, but still just notoriety, right? The
all those comparisons,
home run,
the leg injuries,
is the exact same time. Yeah, exact same time.
Like I was joking all last week, like I want a Freddie Freeman, Kirk Gibson. I've been joking about that.
We were talking about who might win MVP, and I know I rewatched and I said, you know what? I don't think Freddie Freeman can win it because of the injury. And then you said, but a Kirk Gibson moment would just be so amazing if he could do that. And then guess what? 3 days later,
Kirk Gibson. I like that home run. Him and Joe Carter's home run for the Blue Jays. Those are the most iconic home runs like in the sport. Those home runs are on a pedestal so high, and unfortunately, Rajay Davis, that's like the forgotten home run when he tied it up, homered off Chapman. There's forgotten moments too, but that was the peak moment that I will ever have as a fan in my life, and I've accepted it. You can't possibly top that. The only way you could have topped it is if the Yankees were up by 3 instead of 1, and it was a full count. That's quite literally the only way you could have topped it.
The only way to win was a grand slam.
Yeah, but hey, yeah. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. Still, is a walk-off home run with a down going into the bottom of the 10th. Holy shit! But the similarities are unreal. But I've accepted that is the peak moment. I'll never see anything cooler than that. You can't think of anything.
I saw the Minneapolis Miracle live.
But this is World Series. That's to go to the NFC Championship.
That's the Vikings World Series, man. Yeah, that was to go to the NFC Championship.
Fair.
But, hey, we have won nothing. My entire lifetime, I had only watched us lose games.
So. That's fair. But like, hey, I've accepted that. That's my peak moment. There's been too many times just since this podcast started where Ohio State Ohio State's played in some of the best football games over the past 5 years. If you were just objectively looking at the games they've been a part of, I have, as a fan, happened to just view some of the most exciting games, but almost every time Ohio State loses, and it's not exactly.
Yeah, no, Ohio State has not beat Michigan since we started the podcast, Grant.
Yeah, no, huh? Maybe there's a correlation there.
Something going on there.
Maybe there's a slight correlation there. But
you did lose before we had started the podcast too, though. So you can't blame the podcast. Blame the on.
Oh yeah, like right before. Yeah, lost right before.
Yeah.
No, but that was it. That was the moment. I will be rewatching that. I have rewatched it every single night since, at least 30 times. I had to retweet it because I want that saved on my Twitter for life. Like that's why I retweeted it, so I can just reference that back forever. Like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a guy on TikTok, a Padres fan, and just like his thing is just hates the Dodgers.
There's a specific Padres fan. Now, I think
got a beard. He sits down in like a little chair.
He lives right outside the stadium.
Oh, does he?
What? Well, I'm thinking of a specific
I don't know. I'm thinking about this guy who reacts
right next to.
No. I'm thinking about this guy reacts to the Dodger games, and he just hates the Dodgers because he's a Padres fan. And there's a video of him watching. He's watched like every game of baseball, and he just gets incredibly pissed off whenever the Dodgers do something. And there's a clip of him watching that hit, and it's the funniest thing that I've seen reaction.
I don't think I ever had more fun than watching Yankees reactions to it because, like, hey, I'll say this. There's a couple people trying to get on Yankees fans, getting mad that Aaron Judge isn't performing well.
Dude, I'd be pissed.
That's a loser mentality. I called Dookie Betts for like 4 years straight. And then he turned it around. And I'll be honest, so far this series, thank God he had that jam shot single last night, but I would have been calling him Dookie Betts still because he hasn't done anything in the series. But what? You guys are the New York Yankees. All right, 27 rings. I looked up the World Series. Baseball as a sport's over 200 years old. The World Series only began in 1904. They almost have one fourth of all World Series. Like that is incomprehensible. And I was looking at, you asked me earlier today, like, is this Freddie Freeman performance the greatest World Series performance ever? And I was like, in our lifetimes, I think so, definitely. But then I just, by nature, I just looked up Mickey Mantle, and the dude has 7 rings. I thought Jordan 6 was on this pedestal.
Hey, you know
dude
what?
Has 7, and I've never heard that mentioned
of him because we still don't have video of the Walt 100. The Wilt
Oh,
Chamberlain
that
100
will
point
never
game.
have. And I'm
But
still,
but
it's
but do we have evidence of the rings at least in this aspect? Because then it
those
starts
I
to
think
say,
we do.
okay.
If there's footage of Babe Ruth at the Polo Grounds, there's definitely
Yeah, no, think about it this way.
Mantle
We
footage.
have
Babe
footage of
Ruth
Babe
footage,
Ruth,
but not the Wilt
not a
100
hundred
point game.
game, but we have footage of Wilt going to. I think I saw a picture the other day of him going to the MLK funeral. There's a
Yeah.
picture of him, like video of him play. No
Hey,
video of the 100 point game, just a picture.
I mean, I've seen pictures of Wilt. I believe he was Globetrotters before. Like, think about that. Wilt was such a superstar from Kansas. I think he did Globetrotters for 5 years before the NBA because he was making more money doing that.
Send him to the
Wilt's
Scooby Doo
Wilt's
episode.
Wilt's goaded, but yeah, no, I've accepted that was the moment. I'll never have a better moment than that. I'll also just say real quick about that game. There's going to be so many forgotten moments because of that Grand Slam. So many
Yeah,
forgotten moments. Uh, Earlier, like literally two ABs before, Verdugo made one. Verdugo made one of the greatest plays I've ever seen in my life. Running to the right field line, dives over the foul pole wall, dives over it, makes the play
yeah,
back.
catches on.
When I watched
Mhm.
that, I was just like,
It's like,
what the
dude,
hell?
wow.
What did I just watch? That was one of the
And
most
that wasn't.
impressive
I don't think
plays.
that was like a pop up. Like that was a Shohei like beamer, not
Yeah,
like
no,
a
no,
full,
yeah,
not a
it
full
was
beamer,
tailing
but like
out. It was tailing out.
yeah,
That's a tough play to make. That's not a gimme, easy out. And he made that look routine. And I was just sitting there, just like, oh my, it's gonna happen
I
again.
do think we also really need to like praise what the starting pitchers have done
Yeah.
because that was not what we like. I would at least out of Flaherty for sure would
Yeah.
not
Flaherty.
expect that.
My biggest concern, Flaherty. I was hearing it from the last seasons, but his very first playoff start, he was around 93, 94 miles per hour. Good velo. That's what you expect. His next start, which I believe was his best so far of the playoffs, down a tick, down to 92. Little concerned, but you'd expect that short rest. Hey, that's it's going to happen. It'll be down a little. But then his next start, he was down to around 90, 91. Red, red flag alert. Elatrosh on speed dial. That's how red flag that is to drop 4 miles per hour. Major red flags. And going to that game one start, I was like, hey, I will know within the first 5 pitches if Flaherty's on one tonight. If that velo's up at 94, we're chilling. First pitch, 94 fastball up and in. I was like, oh, it's going to be a good game. And then Flaherty delivered. He dueled with Cole, stuck there neck and neck, kept us in the game. That's all you can ask for out of that start. Part of me was thinking going into that 10th, I was like, wow, we're really about to waste a gem out of Jack Flaherty. I know he gave it the bomb. I know, guys. But from what you'd expect, how that could have ended up, seeing how his last performances have been, you're taking 2 runs over 5 any day of the week. If you're going to tell me before that game, Flaherty's only given up 2 through 5, I was like, oh, so we're winning game one. And all the
No,
thoughts were racing
literally.
through my mind. We're about to waste this Flaherty start. Like, we're about to lose this.
And I I just like
Then
Walker
Freddie
doing
Freeman
Walker
first
things too,
pitch.
but
Yeah. I want to get to
but the
Walker in a
biggest the
sec, but
biggest thing is
also
I just
Yama.
want to Yamamoto put on an absolute master class.
350 was worth it. He shut up all the doubters, all the haters, and just the moments that he's had. That start going up against Darvish, how big that was for him personally. Like Darvish is Shohei Ohtani's favorite baseball player is Yu Darvish.
You Darvish, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I remember Little League World Series for the longest time. Every single Japanese player would say Yu Darvish is my favorite player. They all love Yu Darvish, admire him like he's king out there, and that was so big for Yama to get that win. Then he goes to the Mets, the team that wanted him, the team that he said no to, and then he goes up and dices them. And then Yankees, biggest stage you could possibly imagine, coming off his start earlier in the year, the best performance of his life. Went 7 scoreless on the Yankees, and then he followed that up 5 innings, 1 run. That's all you can ask for. Yama, I'm very happy we gave him 350. I'm very happy about that one. But most importantly of all, I would say other than Clayton Kershaw, my favorite player on this entire organization, Walker Buehler. And this season has been heartbreaking. What watching him regular season, going out there just getting lit up. At some point you were just feeling bad for him, and I was like, hey, if this is how it's going to go out, I'm just going to forget 24, and I'll always remember that game 3 start against the Red Sox when he shot. I'll never forget that day. And then Walker against the Mets, just the best sweeper of his life. He had 4 sweepers with over 2 feet of horizontal run. He did it 4 times in that start. That was the only time in his career he's generated over 2 feet of horizontal break on his sweeper, and he did it 4 times. And then tonight, or last night, he did not have the sweeper. Sweeper was not on. Yankees had the scouting report. That's his pitch. He wants to get you. If you chase that sweeper, he's going to get a lot of outs. I don't know if the Yankees chased that sweeper one time last night. Like even Judge was taking. I was like, oh God, they're not swinging at that. This is going to be tough. But Walker just decided, no, my fastball's back today. That's all right. If I don't have a sweeper, fastball's back today. And the curveball wasn't looking too great. Dodger beat writer Fabian Ardaya was tweeting out, the curve isn't quite on. And then around 10 seconds later, struck out Rizzo with a curve in the dirt, made him look stupid. And it was like, oh, wait, no, he also has the curve tonight.
Might be back.
Walker reinvented himself. Now two games where he had to approach these hitters differently, and he succeeded. And that was probably the last start we'll ever see Walker Buehler in a Dodger uniform. Certainly after that last performance, he's about to go get 60 mil, 75 mil. And knowing that, it was an honor to root for you. Buehler's day off. You're my favorite player to watch over the past few years. And I couldn't be happier for a guy who really deserves it. I will never forgive Max Scherzer for what he did in 2021. Skipping a start in the playoffs, forcing Buehler to pitch on short rest. He was literally never the same after that. When Scherzer just bitched out of a start, he's like, no, I'm not going today. Really, really Mad Max. Don't really sound like the crazy Mad Max to me. It sounds like you're afraid. But yeah, I couldn't be happier for a guy. And yeah, I'm just over the moon for Walker. Like I couldn't be happier.
That's your baby boy.
Seeing him struggle all year, coming back from second TJ, and he had his moment once again. Walker Buehler, 0.5 ERA in 3 World Series starts. Pretty damn good, Everett. Pretty damn good out of him. But I will also say, just in general, I'm shocked how well we're just doing as a team. Like last night, I want to talk about a couple of Dave decisions that I hate. I'll be honest, I was questioning some of these moves, but the confidence that Dave has in certain bullpen arms, I think it's absurd. Like Anthony Banda is producing for us, Everett. If I were to tell you before the playoff run, like, hey, Banda's going to be pitching key critical moments, we both would have sat here and said, so the Padres are going to sweep us. That's probably what our reaction would have been. But Banda's looking amazing. Vesia looks great. I know Kopech gave that bomb, but he's been looking pretty damn good. Bruzdar's even back.
That's okay.
That was okay. Bruzdar, little shaky here and there. He doesn't produce a lot of swing and misses, but he's been on one. Treinen, he can't pitch back-to-back nights. We know that. And I'll be honest, last night, I know Treinen didn't pitch in the game, but we did have him warming up at some point, Everett, and I would count that already as a loss.
He was warming up at the end of the ninth.
But just having him even pick up a baseball yesterday, I consider a slight loss. He's probably not going to be his best tonight. But hey, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I just can't believe this is the year they did it. I can't. We're up 3-0 in the World Series right now. What? Like, we are 1 win away from the real ring, and it's a ring that nobody can discount. We're about to sweep the New York Yankees, the evil empire.
Had to go through the buzzsaw Mets. Had to play against the Padres, who were the
But people online are saying that was the
Second,
World Series, that
yeah.
divisional round. That's what people are saying. That was the World Series right there. And
Padres fans got to be even more pissed. By the way, there's a clip that we had going around. We had from I think 2 years ago. Padre fans, how does it feel that the Dodgers are still your dad?
yeah, we'll always be, have always been, still are, and will always be your dad. Yeah, no, Padres. It's ironic. I didn't take Spanish. I take how what is sun in Spanish? That's what they should
Oh,
change their.
dude, I took Chinese. You were
Oh
asking
yeah,
the wrong
shit.
guy. You're
You're quite
asking the
literally the
wrong
worst
guy.
person for me to ask.
If you want to go,
The
hey, get
Ninos.
ready to learn Chinese, buddy. I'm your guy.
Yeah,
We're sending somebody from the NBA to the Shanghai Sharks. I got you. Don't worry.
yeah. Maybe we rename them to be the Ninos. I don't know, but
But
can't be calling them the Padres. There's no fatherhood going on there in San Diego. Uh, this has just been like the most enjoyable
I'm getting a
postseason round.
fraud alert on something. I don't know what's going on here. I'm a little
Ooh.
concerned.
Well, the last thing we brought up was the Suns, the Ninos. So hey, it checks out, adds up,
There you go.
all perfect. But what you were saying actually a little bit earlier, we really gloss over this. Like, what do you do if you're the Yankees? Like, so I'm not sure if you saw this ever, but Boone, I thought they had to do righty lefty righty lefty. Uh, the reason why the righty lefty is so important is because when you face bullpen arms, at least one of your hitters is gonna get a good lefty righty lefty match. At least one of them will have a good AB. And when you use that format, other teams bullpen, you know, you can't get your perfect matchups. What the Yankees have been doing though, they've quite literally been playing perfectly into our situation. Uh, righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, lefty, righty, lefty, lefty. That's been their lineup. Super lefty heavy at the back. And we're seeing Banda and Vesia get a lot of work because of that. They're coming in to face those streak of lefties. I think the Yankees had to change something up with righty, lefty, righty, lefty. They tried doing that last night, having Trevino come in for Austin Wells, who's been atrocious. But later in the game, Boone then pinch hits Trevino, who was only in because of the hitting. Pinch hits Trevino for Austin Wells to get your lefty on righty matchup. I don't care about your lefty righty. Austin Wells is a AA hitter. You cannot have him hit against the Dodgers bullpen. That's called a strikeout, Aaron. That's a strikeout. But he pinch hit his good hitting catcher for the defensive catcher. So why even start Trevino in the first place? What was the point?
Yeah,
but
I'm also.
They had to do
I mean,
righty lefty, and they did that. But instead of dropping Aaron Judge Everett, they dropped Giancarlo Stanton to 5-hole
yeah.
for Jazz Chisholm to hit 4. Thank you. Thank you for the sweep. Let me go grab the broom downstairs right now. Series is over. It's done. You're dropping Giancarlo for Jazz Chisholm.
I'll be honest. Also, starting Austin
Jazz
Wells. I don't know. I don't know why you're taking. I know you want defense, but look, defense at this point in time, you cannot get. You need firepower.
and Trevino threw a guy out.
Yeah, you need guys who can hit. Austin Wells, like what? Like what? You're concerned about the framing? I wouldn't be concerned about the framing, Aaron. I'd be concerned about getting runs.
Yeah, I'd be concerned about scoring, and the concern is that's not the concern. The concern is your pitchers need to execute better. Clark Schmidt could not buy a strike last night. I mean, the dude was missing 8 feet off the plate. I was like, oh my God, that's a guy who's rattled. That's a guy who's scared. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to bring this up. Freddie, his home run yesterday came on a 1-2 count. Everett, before that last pitch, Schmidt throws him a high and in cutter. Before that, Freddie Freeman had never hit a home run in his career on an up and in cutter. Then he did it. Hit a home run on the up and in.
Freddie Freeman's just doing different things. That AB
right though, when you think about that, now if you look at how he's set up, Schmidt misses pitch. Trevino was setting up outside off the plate, and he hung that over the middle. But if you're Schmidt, you go back in the dugout, and pitching coach even, and you're sitting there, you're like, wait, before that AB, Freddie had never hit a home run off an up and in cutter in his career. You would be like, throw him the up and in cutter. But then he takes it out. Everett, that's a moment where now you're like, what can we even do? Like we had the scouting report, and then he just took it.
From what I saw,
what do we even do now?
Freddie Freeman currently stretching back to the last World Series he was
5 straight home runs.
5 straight. I think the record is 6, by the way. So he can.
Is that specifically for World Series home runs?
For World Series,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He can tie the record. 500 home run. He can tie a record tomorrow. I do think that he would also, or I guess tonight, yeah. He also would be, from my understanding, the only player to ever hit a home run in every World Series games in a series.
Gotta be.
He has to be. Which is why I was like, if we win tonight, Grant, or I mean, this is all hypothetical. This is coming out after the game. So when we win tonight, we won tonight.
It's a sweep. Whoever's listening,
and Freddie Freeman hit a home run because he did that. I think that I don't care what Mickey Mantle has done. Like, that has to be the single-handed greatest individual
that's crazy.
World Series performance of all time.
Now, I will say this: there's, from a hitting perspective, of course, that's going to be on. And the walk-off grand slam, he had his big moment too. Like, it's hard to ever top that. But when you were bringing that up earlier, I had to look something up because I remembered this one guy who had a pretty good World Series career. And you brought up bad memories for me, Everett, when you were bringing up greatest World Series performances. And I wanted to agree with you more than anything. But Everett, Madison Bumgarner in his 3 rings. I'm about to tell you this stat. Madison Bumgarner over 3 World Series, Everett, pitched in a total of, let me get this right.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at an individual World Series in a vacuum. I'm not looking at every World Series.
Yeah, I know, but 36 innings. Everett, guess how many runs he's given up in the World Series in his career? 36 innings.
2. Still close.
What?
No, like that
35 innings of scoreless baseball.
Obviously, objectively speaking, it is harder to be a pitcher in a World Series.
Straight to the heart. Like, what?
No, objectively speaking, it's harder to be a pitcher in a World Series than it is to be a hitter. But I will just say, like,
oh no, for a single World Series, I'm with you.
Series,
I'm not gonna fact check this because I don't want to. I want to be in on it. That I've never seen a more like goated performance ever. Every time, hey, I was talking about the scary hitters we've been talking about for years. Scary October ABs. Stan's terrifying. Soda's terrifying. They're not Freddie terrifying though. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, no,
it was beautiful.
It quite literally has been 5 nights at Freddy's. That's what's going on.
There was a nice clip last night of Frank the Tank was watching it with the Yankees fans. Freddie goes deep and all the Yankees fans like, I hate Freddie, and Frank the Tank immediately is like, first time. That Franco meme where he's getting first time.
First time.
Yeah. Frank knows the power of Freddie Freeman and how much
he's very aware
that has caused him in his life. Yeah, back at it again. And hey, from a long-term Dodgers perspective, that's quite literally the perfect person to have his moment, because I do think he'll carry this into next season.
How's your dad feel about Freddie now?
Yeah, bro. My dad was like, hey, for the past couple of years, Freddie has been my dad's favorite player by far. It's the old man on the team. My dad loves the old guy hitting, producing. And this year, at one point around August, dog days of summer, my dad comes up to me. He's like, hey, maybe we're already seeing the detriment of this deal. Maybe we should consider a move next season. And I've kept hope. I've been looking at Goldschmidt. I look at him. He won an MVP at 37 2 years ago. Freddie's only 34. His MVP year's ahead of him, according to Paul Goldschmidt lore. So we're 2 years away from a Freddie Freeman MVP season. And I'm obviously making a joke here, but I'm not out on Freddie after that. What? No. Dodger for life. Kike said it last night, but I genuinely don't believe Freddie Freeman should have to pay for a meal in LA ever again.
Hey, Kike is also getting pretty close to getting his jersey retired in Chavez Ravine. So
Kike's a legend. I just the guys this year. I just love that we're doing it with. The teams change a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's still the Dodgers. CT3 is still on the team. All right, Austin
yeah, it
Barnes
still
is still
is the
on the team.
Dodgers.
It's still the Dodgers. Okay. I can't believe it. We're about to win it, and this isn't even the Death Star year. I said before the playoffs, you're crazy if you expect this to be the year the Dodgers win the World Series. Well, I guess I'm the crazy
we're going
one.
in to go get Roki Sasaki in 2 years. So let's
Yeah,
go
I mean,
there.
I guess I'm the crazy one. Uh, Boy, I was wrong. Boy, I was dead wrong on this team. When I was talking about no fight, no heart, most heart I've ever seen on a baseball team in my life. What? I've never seen anything like this. It's beautiful. Like I'm going to age in a good way. I'm going to become an old man this winter. I was going to be reading articles all day, just reading articles. Compare this World Series to, I don't know, the 1936 World Series when Tungsten Armo Doyle threw a 10-game shutout, 10-inning complete game shutout. Yeah, I'm talking about Tungsten boys, but no, this is I don't even know how to react. This is crazy.
Okay, Grant. Let's wrap up with the NFL real quick because there are two things we need to address today. First of all, we do have a trade to the Ravens today that we probably should go over. But additionally, the end of last episode, we were talking about the NFL because obviously the Vikings played, and I gave kind of my forecasts of what I wanted things to have happen, my expectations, because we were posting it right after the game was going to be over anyways. My expectations were met. I think what I said in that were they were met in the first quarter. And then every quarter afterwards, they were not. They was thrown out the window. So they got to the point, though, at the end of the game. I mean, the notorious face mask, not face mask, but very clearly face mask, like refs, Jesus Christ. But my favorite thing about that entire sequence is LASIK. The company LASIK went on the NFL's post and said, hey, yes, like they were like, hey, refs, like we got late, like you guys, like we're
I'll be honest, I
offering
didn't even
LASIK.
know
I mean, like,
LASIK was a
and
company. I was just
some
thought that was what the surgery was called.
no LASIK.com, but
Apparently
they were
that's why
like,
it's called LASIK surgery.
they were like, somebody asked some Vikings fan was like, is this like a legitimate offer? And they were like, yes, we are legitimately still offering LASIK to all
NFL referees.
So it's like I'm incredibly pissed off, but that made it a little bit better because it's just so funny. But no, the Vikings, they're showing that they can fight back, but it's the contrast of the Dodgers, right? Like it's like you need to show me something right now because we're doing the same thing every week, and there's no like there's fight, but it's like a Chihuahua versus what I would expect to be a Rottweiler. So like I don't know. Like, there just needs to be something. Now you have Christian Darrisaw go down, that's a huge hit, and now we're
Yeah,
third in the NFC North because of the second loss.
As a guy, now I'm talking Ohio State, as a guy who's left tackles out for the year and seeing the impact that had on the run game for Ohio State, as an Aaron Jones fantasy or owner, let's just say I'm entertaining the trade block.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
That might.
You do get to the point though where you're starting to expect, Kevin O'Connell should be going for it on fourth downs, or like go for a touchdown instead of a field goal. Like I was saying this to somebody else, but it's like the Vikings currently as of this very moment, Will Reichert is 100%. He's the only kicker in the NFL 100% make field goals, 100% made extra points. The only person who hasn't missed at this point in time, right? It's just like the Vikings are finally like, oh my God, we have a kicker. Let's use him every single time possible. Not even entertaining the option of going for it on fourth down because now they have a kicker to do it. Where in other years they would have gone for it on fourth down and just, they would have.
I have a feeling that the Texans, D'Amico might have a similar thing where he's like, dude, Fairbairn's automatic. Like, we'll settle for a 50-yarder.
It's just like that was one of those things where I'm like, you know what? We're down by what did we ended up? It was. I'm going to say 28. It was not. It was not a safety. Safety did not exist. All right. It was what 20 to 28.
You were down. 28-20. Yes.
Yeah, so we kicked a field goal, I think, and instead of going for it to go get a touchdown, and it was just one of those points in time in the game. I don't remember when it was specifically, but it was like, hey, you get a touchdown. All you need to do, you go for two and get it, whatever. That was another point. We did get a touchdown. We went for two. Liked that call. Did not like the play call. They like forced it to Justin Jefferson through the middle. Like I'm all for going, trying to shove it to Justin Jefferson, but like they know you're 2 yards out of the end zone. They're gonna know that's where you're going. You got to be a little bit more creative. Like
Yeah,
it's not like you have four attempts on this and they're gonna be like, oh, like okay, they're gonna throw to Justin Jefferson, maybe this one. Like, no, you're obviously they're gonna, try and guard up him in that situation. Like, I don't fully get that. There needs to be some changes. There needs to be some changes. And defensively speaking, Brian Flores clearly demonstrated that he could lock down the lines, even though the Lions scored, I don't know how many points on us when we played them. The Lions scored like 52 this past week. So Brian Flores clearly can do stuff, but
yeah,
there's
I
a
will
lack
say
of run
very.
stop. The we need to get Blake Cashman back because the linebacker core is just fucking horrible in coverage. And Stephon Gilmore, where you been, buddy? I don't know what's it like. What happened? I didn't realize
Gil.
Casper was playing on my team.
Whew, wow, we're going after guys today. I like it. Yeah, I would say it, slightly unfair. You know, he had to go up against Puka Cup ramps. There is quite literally zero film of Puka this year. You got to refer back to last season. And knowing Sean McVay, I wouldn't surprise me if Puka, every single route he ran last Thursday were brand new routes that have never been shown on tape. Wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. So, it is a tough ask. I will say though, like I do think moving forward here, like Rams are a
Rams are a good
big
team.
threat
No,
with
they're
Cup
they're
and
a
Poot.
good
Like,
team.
that, like, I think coming up here, I'm not trying to give away my picks, but like, I don't see me picking against the Rams for a while here. Like, I think they're
No,
about to
but
go
like
on a
that's
little
kind of my
roll.
thing is like the Vikings are getting into a territory though where you're starting to feel like, oh, all of the magic is kind of shimmering away, right? All
Okay.
that glitter
Yeah.
is gone according to Smash Mouth. So, I that there needs to be some things going on, and it's like there's a huge offensive issue. The Vikings ranked first in the NFL in scoring the first quarter and 27th in scoring in
Yeah. That's a
every
problem.
the
It's a
rest of it.
problem.
That's a huge
It's a
issue.
problem.
Like, so when when you're scripting plays, great, we're great, but you got to figure out what to do when you can't script plays. And to me, that sounds like you have an issue with your guys scouting on the team, like scouting during the game and seeing what the other team's doing. And B, it sounds like an issue as a coach that you're
Yeah.
making the wrong reads. Like
Yeah.
we had a
Little
substantial
KFC
amount of
problem.
time. We spent a substantial amount of plays where we were getting yards running, and then we just stopped running. Like the pass game wasn't working. I don't know why we're forcing it. Like you got to run. Like I, it's just you got to do something new. You need to have a new install. You need to change things up. And right now, I know it's Sean McVay, so obviously it's hard to run an offense against a guy who's going to read your offense. But you know, the part of being a good coach and a good coordinator, good play caller is getting around that. And it was the same thing at the end of the Packers game. First half was great, and then LaFleur kind of figured out what we were doing, and the defense on the Packers the entire second half just completely took out our knees.
Yeah. I'm,
And
I'm just looking right
all of
now,
us.
just little box score stats I'm seeing. Yeah, like running the ball, it was a rough day for Minnesota, especially with Darisaw going down, averaging under 3 yards per carry, 2.9. Rams weren't necessarily great either at 3.3. Those are good numbers that you like to see. But what I'm looking at, a big difference here, fourth down. Rams were 4 for 10 and had a fourth down conversion.
Well, I will
Vikings two
also
for
add though they
seven.
got a lot of that on penalties,
Fair, fair. I would. Oh yeah, 5 first downs from penalties for the Rams,
which I
0
legitimately
for the
think is
Vikings.
the referees. ninety
Yeah,
percent of the money was on the
refs,
Vikings.
refs.
90% of the
Oh,
money was on
oh,
the Vikings.
oh, yeah. I saw that too, and I was like, we know how this ends. We know how this is going to end out. Vegas was betting on the Rams on that game. They were. Uh, maybe have to think a little bit there. I will say Rams look
No, they look great, but the problem is the Vikings lost their own game and the referees. The Vikings more so lost their own game. Like at a certain point, though, you can blame the refs, you can point fingers, but you still need to be able to make the plays. You need to be able to score. Like the refs could give them 5 first downs, but it doesn't matter if you already put up 42 points, right? Like, so
yeah, no, I like this up where I'm seeing. I think though, if there's one thing going well, Justin Jefferson was getting loose in that game. 8 catches, 9 targets.
you
That's
get TJ Hawkinson
crazy.
back as well, which is going to help with that. But the left tackle, there's going to be so much pressure. Like Sam Darnold, I
Yeah, no, they're
think
gonna need Hawk back. He needs trip help.
Sam Darnold, I think right now in the league is the longest time to throw. Like he just holds onto the ball. He holds onto the ball for so long,
And this
and
is
it's
time to throw, not pressure. Time to throw.
I think it might be time pressure, whatever. Just like to getting the ball, whatever, getting the ball out. And he holds on to that thing for so long, it's becoming an issue because it leads to sacks. Like the Rams game, it was very apparent. And then also, I know you're
Yeah,
trying to
that
let
was
the play
something I was
develop. I
noticing.
know you're letting the play develop. You're letting the play develop. But at the same time, Kevin O'Connell is on you to know you can't let him hold on the ball up. You got to develop something so you have an under or a check down that he can just drop off to. But also,
Yeah, like if you're
Sam
going to
Darnold's got to be
run,
better of just
yeah, I would say that like when I think former lineman chiming in here, but when you are running a long developing pass play, like a play action shot, a deep double move, from how I think, like you can't even call that play to begin with unless there's protection. Whether that's a running back helping out, whether it's a tight end helping out, like you cannot call a play that takes 2 seconds, 3 seconds for this route to develop. You can't even call that unless you can block it. Uh, if you do call it, well, you're going to get sacked a lot and you're going to lose a lot of football games. So, uh, yeah, I think some adjustments got to be made here. Like Darisaw screws up everything from a play calling perspective, player perspective, however you look at it. Like losing your top tier left tackle,
on the
it's
blind
it's going to be
side.
very
Yeah,
hard.
it's really
It's going
tough.
to be very hard moving forward. Like Ohio State, I don't feel great about this game this weekend. This is Everett. I'll say this. This is the first time in my life I'm expecting to lose to Penn State.
Really.
Ohio State looked. I mean, I'll save it for the next episode. We've got a long episode today, but what I'm seeing out of my
Yeah,
Ohio
a lot
State
of Dodger
Buckeyes right
talk.
now,
Not great.
thank God the Dodgers are playing well. Because if the Dodgers were
If the Dodgers
and
were
I only
losing right
had Ohio
now,
State and the Chargers,
I don't know if I would hear from you if Ohio State lost to Penn State this weekend.
that can happen. In a way, it's weird, but in a way, I'll be excited because
What? Then you fire Ryan Day?
yeah, and Mike Vrabel's getting a call Saturday night. Well, not even night, Saturday afternoon. Yeah, no, it's an early start. If there's one thing, shout out Fox Big Noon, 9 a.m. Pacific time start for me on that one.
Yeah, you'll have enough time to contact him.
Oh yeah, no. The other thing about those 9 a.m. starts, like, there's nothing
Yeah,
that.
you'll fire. You'll fire.
Well, the Vikings seem like they are working on that left tackle. The Minnesota Vikings have acquired tackle Cam Robinson
Oh
from the
Jesus fuck!
Jaguars.
God damn it!
Uh, hey, you know, not the most pretty looking guy.
That's like trading for Jawan Taylor. I need to know what
Yes,
we just
I
gave
just
up for that.
realized if you got Jawan Taylor, he would not be allowed to false start anymore. So yes,
Yeah, I need to see. I need to see how much we just gave up for that.
yeah, I guess like a I don't know
I don't
trade
know. In
value. I was
exchange
gonna
for
spit
draft
like a
pick, it says
six.
draft pick compensate. If
I don't
Questi
know.
gave up anything more than a sixth for that, we're gonna have some fighting words.
I've got no idea. Well, hey, I have not looked at the Jerry Jones trade chart in a minute. Not gonna lie, that's on me, everyone.
I'm gonna be honest, it's like completely outdated at this point in time.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, no, I
Deontay
know. That's
Johnson was
why I
traded
love
for
it. It is so outdated. It's like that was built in what, like 91?
90, yeah, like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, no, 30-ish, 30 and some change that many years ago. Yeah, maybe we should update the chart. Maybe we
Yeah,
should.
well, there is a new updated one. It's just like weird. It's a little weird, but
Hey, it's quick,
yeah,
quick gander. Just base grades. Cam Robinson's round 30th best tackle on PFF. I'll
ugh,
take a quick
ew.
look at pass rush win rates. Let me see it. If he's on that list at all, Everett, you win.
Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna take a
fair. I
quick
don't
look.
think he's
If
gonna
he's on
be,
if he's on this
but
list, you win. Let me see it. Not in the top 20 pass blocking tackles. It's a very impressive list, though. Not gonna lie. Brian O'Neill is ninth. Uh,
yeah.
O tackle run, not on the run either. Damn it. But Darisaw was eighth in the NFL on run block win rate. Yeah, bro. Aaron Jones, those stretch plays, cut them from the playbook.
Or just run a Brian O'Neill's side. It's also
Well, yeah, I mean they're gonna have to now.
yeah, just load the right side of the box. But yeah, I don't know that we'll see what happens this week.
You guys got
Colts who decided to bench AR this week for Joe
you
Flacco.
got screwed again. But the good news is now Brian Flores knows for the whole week I'm facing Joe Flacco. That's the positive. He has a week.
Yeah, fair ish.
Yeah, it's better to
Yeah,
know who the starter is a week in advance than
yeah,
not. You
yeah.
know.
They could. It's not something they would have had to disclose. They could have just
Yeah,
shown up.
yeah. Another thing, it's like, what? Why does any NFL coach disclose shit that they don't have to? You just
I
gave.
think it just gets leaked. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
but
think that just
there's
then at
nothing.
some point, there's
Hey,
coaches just like, all right,
one thing I
I
love
guess
about
everyone knows.
Harbaugh, I don't think Harbaugh's told the truth to the media this year yet. And guess
Well,
what?
I think it's
There's
like
no
their
rule in his.
quarterback coach or somebody like just
Yeah, that's not. But like, there's no rule in the ML or NFL rule book saying you need to be honest in press. There's no rule saying
yeah. The
that.
other problem though is like at practice though, like people will be like, oh
No,
yeah,
I,
we're
I
noting
know.
that this guy's on
Well,
the
well,
sideline. You
that's
know,
how
so
you actually track it. You don't listen to the coach. You read the availability report. If a player did not practice all week, guess what, guys? He's not playing in the game. It's kind of crazy, I know. But yeah, like that's how you determine if a guy's health. If a dude's limited all week, they're playing. Three Toradol shots later, they're good. They're playing if they're limited all week. They're playing.
yeah. Look at
Like,
Shohei Ohtani. But yeah, with that, I think we're gonna wrap up
and
here.
last thing, Otani was saying, drew a comparison. He texted the boys after game two, sent a team text saying, "Great win today, guys. Bellinger's shoulder popped out in 2020, and now mine is. This is a good sign for a championship." That was what he texted the team. So yeah, actually, closing
Yeah,
thought.
clearly knows
Sorry,
English, by the way.
yeah, he's pulling an Ichiro. He thinks it's funny using a translator. Yama doesn't know a lick of English. Yamamoto is just a little kid sitting there in the dugout. It's got no idea what's going on. Yeah, no, you could tell Yamamoto does not know English. Yeah, I'm convinced Otani's pulling an Ichiro. But last thing I'll say, guys, Otani's not even pitching yet. Dynasty run started after game one. Yeah, I'm thinking like three-peat Everett. Four.
Hey, hey, all right.
Let's
Hey,
set
you
the
heard it
bar
here
high.
first.
Screw it. This team's surpassed five-peat. Let's go for it. Let's do it.
First ever. Okay. Well, with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, raising 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at @OneOverPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 and at @OneOverGrant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to check us out there and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok, so make sure to check us out there as well. And with that, we'll see you guys next episode. Waterboys out.